And welcome back to Dirt and Dents. Now, in this new installment of Dirt and Dents, we're taking a perfectly good canopy and drilling some holes all over it, and we will explain the reasons why just after the opener. So the reason why we're drilling some holes into the canopy is that over the Fraser Island trip and summer here in Melbourne, I've started to notice the fridge working a lot harder, and plus the inside of the canopy is getting hotter and hotter, which then makes the fridge work more and more and more, because it's obviously got to bring the temperature down inside the fridge, but the canopy temperature is rising up. So to combat that, we are going to drill some holes into the top back corners of the canopy and install some slimline vents, and we will run down to Bunnings and show you what we need first. All right, so I've got my vents here which we're going to be putting on. So I've got one there, I've already pulled one out which is just sitting up here. I've also got some silicone, the little mini cork gun for that, and my pop riveter and pop rivets, because we're going to pop rivet them onto the back of the canopy. The other thing I've got, which I haven't pulled out just yet, I have some stick-on fly screen mesh which is going to go in between the vent up there and the wall, and basically it's just to stop any creepy crawlies from crawling up through the vent holes and into the canopy, and also try and help catch some dust and mud, whatever flicks up while we're driving. So hopefully that works. So first things first, we've got inside the canopy, probably a bit hard to tell, there we go, we've got these 50 by 50 brackets, or the frame along the top and the uprights. So basically I'm thinking is, because it's going to be matching on both sides, we might be able to just put it just there and then drill our holes, which will then on the outside correspond to being able to put it, say, might roughly be like there somewhere. So that's what we're going to do first, is we're going to go and mark our holes on the inside here, just with some permanent texture, put them up in the corner like that, drill our holes on both sides, and also that should mean that it is all nice and balanced on top, so it'll sit like that. So we're going to do that quickly and we'll see how it looks. Alrighty, so I've got my holes all marked up on the inside of the canopy. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Luckily this weld was just out of the way, which doesn't really matter anyway. So once the pop rivets pop through from the outside, it's going to dodge all that stuff anyway. And on the other side I've done the same thing, which I'll show you. But the problem is that we've got a weld right near that join, which will be fine. So mark that one there, mark that one there, mark the top one. So when I did that side, all I basically had to do was hold the vent on top of the weld so it sat flush against that upright to make sure that it was all even with the other side. So that's all kosher. So what we're going to do now is we've got our drill. I'm going to pre-drill those holes in the driver's side, which is the other side, and then just place the rivets in just to hold it, do the other side, and make sure it all looks even, nice and flat, and looks all level across the top there, that's not dropped or anything. So we'll quickly go do that and we'll show you what it is looking like. Right, so I've gone and drilled the holes. So I've just stuck the vents up with a bit of painter's tape, just folded over just to make sure I can see what it looks like. So that's what it's looking like on the back. Now I'm just going to run around with a tape measure off the top, and also just say off this corner to say, oh, sorry, back there. So off this corner to, like, say back there, and just make sure that it's all nice and square. I've also got a little square in my cupboard here, my little workshop cupboard. Here it is. So I can always put this on the side there like that, which that's pretty square. Measure off that edge, make sure that's even, and do the same on that side, and that basically tells me that it's the same on off the edge. And then just going to measure from the top, which it all should look very, very similar anyway. So I'm pretty happy how it's going. So next we'll once we've got those measurements all set, I'll pull out the drill and we'll drill all the holes behind it for the actual air to come through and out the vent. So quickly measure it and then I'll show you what we're up to. Alright, so I've gone and stuck up with a bit of tape on the outside to keep falling off. Got the square, made it all square off the edges, and it's all sitting nice off the top. So it's got 40mm gap from top to top. Same on the other side. So now I'm going to grab my texter and basically on the sides I'm going to mark sort of in the middle of these. I guess they're like a louve window, I guess, vent. Anyway, Ember's trying to say hello because she's lost her ball under the fence. So I'll have to grab that one in a second. So we're going to mark off the sides here, and basically that's going to allow me to drill my holes. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 along each one. And basically I don't really want to cut a massive hole into it like some vents you need to. For this one I'm just going to drill some holes to make it a little bit less intrusive. Then we'll get the fly screen, measure that out, cut it, and then stick it on, silicone all on. But I'll drill these holes first and then I'll show you how it looks and how it sort of sits. So I've got my holes all marked out. So I've gone and put a tape up and it looks like a bit of a graph, but it's not really. So basically these horizontal lines are 4 slits in the vent where the holes will be drilled. And then it's 70 meters wide. So it's from basically here to here. And within that we've got, sorry, I can't zoom in down. So basically we've got 70 to 70 across here. And then we'll be drilling on each intersecting line in between there, like that. And that will give us a nice grid pattern for our louve vent to sit on there too. So we'll go and drill that out and then I'll show you what it means when I've sort of all drilled it and you can sort of see it. Alrighty, so I've got the holes all drilled in on both sides. That one's just sitting up there in the template. So what I've gone and done, using my fly screen patch repair kit that I got from Bunnings, this is going to make our filter that sits over the top of that and basically just stop anything from creeping up and crawling in through those holes. So all I've gone and done is, on the back side I've got this sticky adhesive paper. So I just basically put it on the corners there, trace it out and then cut on the inside of that line to make it a little bit smaller around the edges there. So basically what will happen is this white paper will peel off, then it'll get stuck onto the back side of that, then this will go on there, pop riveted in on the corners, and then with our little mini tube of silicone here we will run around the edges and basically just seal the edges from being watertight, and basically that allows all the water to hit the top, run off it and then bounce and then hit the tray. And that should keep the waterproofness quality in the canopy. So we'll go and do that. I'll stick that on and then we will go and pop rivet it all on. Alright, so just found a major issue with the vent and the pop rivets. So I've gotten these rivets open seal ones, thinking they'll be the right ones, but they're not. So when I put them through the back end, they didn't actually, I don't know, shroud outwards or like mushroom out on the back side to actually grip on the inside of the canopy. So basically once I sort of put it all on, I was able to wriggle it and the whole thing just came off. So I'm going to run down to Bunnings, get some better pop rivets and have another crack. So we'll come back in a jiffy and we'll show you what we get instead. So we're back from Bunnings, got the vents all pop riveted on, so they are nice and secure now. So I ended up going with 4mm diameter aluminium rivets. They just close in a lot better, plus they're feeling a lot more rigid on there. So now that's what they're looking like on the inside. So they've sandwiched in a lot nicer against the aluminium. Could get some of these burrs off with the file, but you can see maybe you can't mesh through that backside there. So I'm happy with that. So now I've got my trusty little silicone gun for these little mini bottles. and we'll just run around the outside and silicone all in, and then with the soapy water and a spray bottle, just basically spray the sides of the canopy, and then we'll be able to wipe it off and make it all look nice and kosher. So I'll quickly go and do that now. Alright, so the vents are now all installed, all siliconed up, all sealed up, which is a schmicko. So that is going to stop any dust ingress or water ingress inside the canopy and keep everything dry and basically tidy. Anyway, so give it a couple of days, see how that silicon's holding up. The only job we've got left to do now is to hit the actual vent with some sandpaper to scuff up that surface, and then give it a touch over with some etch primer, and then Raptor to tie it all into the back of the canopy, which I'll do at a later date because I need to go pick up some more Raptor, which I'll do that later anyway. So that's all that's left to do on that, and that's pretty much all done. So if you've enjoyed this episode and you got something out of it, make sure you like, leave a comment even, and hit that subscribe button, and we will see you in next installment of Dirt and Dins, which we are broadening our horizons on this channel, so you won't want to miss that one. So we'll see you in the next one. Bye.